All right, YouTube. This has been the absolute hardest video I've ever filmed. And it is because it is unlike anything else I've ever done. In this video, I am reviewing underwear. Yep, I'm reviewing the HiCliff Boxer Briefs. I have never done a product review ever before, and I think it's very funny and awkward that the first time I'm reviewing something is a pair of boxers. But we're gonna go ahead and give this a shot. I've literally tried to film this video a gajillion times. The first time I tried, my microphone was malfunctioning. The camera kept getting out of focus. The second time I tried this, I was just rambling and it was gonna be like a 30-minute long video. Today, trying to film this, I got lost. I lost service. So it's just been quite a struggle. But I am determined to give you a quality review of the HiCliff Boxer Briefs. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. Okay, so I know you probably think a lot about all these other things that you use when you climb. Like, I'm sure you probably put a lot of thought into the shoes that you wear, you know, whether or not they're gonna be aggressive, are they gonna be neutral, are they high volume, are they low volume, you know, what's the thickness of the rubber, do you have a lot of toe rubber, do you have a lot of heel rubber? Like, you probably put so much thought into your shoes. You probably think about the pants that you wear. Are you wearing shorts? Are you wearing pants? What's the quality of the fabric? How thick is the fabric? You know, you're probably thinking about even the chalk bucket that you have, or the chalk brush you have, or the chalk that you use. You probably think so much about all of these other things that you climb in. But how much thought have you actually put into the underwear that you climb in? Personally, I've actually thought quite a bit about this. Before I started climbing, pretty much all the underwear that I had was just regular loose-fitting boxers. So when I started climbing and I was wearing shorts, I realized that definitely kind of left me exposed in some ways. And so I quickly realized that I had to figure out a different solution. And at the time I didn't have any climbing pants, so I decided to opt for boxer briefs. But I just found them to be pretty uncomfortable. They were just really tight and I just didn't really like them. And then I tried compression shorts and then that was even worse. Not a huge fan of that. So when I was shooting my V100 video, this guy came up to me and then he asked me that question. How much thought have you put into the underwear you climb in? And that was when he showed me the HiCliff Boxer Briefs. So to prevent me from rambling on, I'm gonna try and do this in 5 different sections. I'm first gonna talk about the design, then I'm gonna talk about the feel and the performance, I'm gonna talk about the pros and the cons, then I'm gonna talk about who I think this is for, and then finally, I'm gonna give you my final impressions, my final thoughts on them. So let's not waste any more time, and let's go ahead and jump straight into the review. So let's start off talking about the design. So we've got a nice all black design. It's really slick. It kind of gives you some Calvin Klein vibes, and it looks really great when it peeks out of your waistband too. So it really makes you feel like you're wearing something special. Next, we've got what they call a 3D pouch, which helps keep your whole package nice and secure. You know that's not going anywhere. And then on the other side of that, you've got these mesh panels. You've also got another mesh panel on the backhand side for some extra breathability. Now, these are made out of 95% modal and 5% spandex. And for those of you who are like me and had no clue what modal was, it's basically a fabric made out of beech tree cellulose, which doesn't necessarily help explaining what it is, but just know that it is one of the softest fabrics I have ever felt in my life. Like, I can't really fully explain to you what it's like through a video. You'd have to really try them yourself to feel what I'm talking about, but just, it's actually really kind of crazy. Now, modal is an eco-friendly, biodegradable fabric that uses 10 to 20 times less water to produce than traditional cotton. So it's definitely a fabric that's a great choice for people who are eco-conscious and care about the environment. So on top of it being super duper soft, it's also super stretchy and flexible, also moisture wicking, and it's got a pretty long inseam here. So I'll go ahead and I'll throw the measurements up here, and that's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy about the design, just a really nice, sleek pair of underwear. Okay, so now you know what they look like. Now let me show you them in action.
It's been been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging it. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my cloth, they tugging it. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, who don't play?
Yeah, you've seen a couple clips of me climbing in the HiCliff undies, you know what I'm talking about. So you really see how well they work mobility wise. Like you can really say no. Say no, but they're really great. I think like in terms of like flexibility, mobility, like you can really move around so much. Like you get so much range of motion in these. They're really not restrictive at all, and because they're so elastic, like they stretch whenever you move, and then they kind of like really fit in the right pockets that you need to whenever you're climbing. So it allows you to like just move freely, you know? So it's really tight. And then also, like after like a long session or whatever, like I'm sweating in my upper body, but I'm cool. I'm super cool down here. So definitely really like these underwear for that. And
so yeah, these are great. Honestly, I really love working out in them. Because they're moisture wicking, my body stays really cool. They're not even really just moisture wicking, they're like actively cooling. It's like having an AC unit in your pants, which is really awesome. Definitely a huge fan of the softness of the fabric. That's probably my favorite part about these. There's really no irritation or anything like that whenever you're wearing them. Because these are a boxer brief and they're a little bit more of a tighter athletic fit, I have noticed that they do ride up a bit when I'm not in the gym, but during my session, it's less that they ride up and it's more like they just fit into the grooves of my body that really help to maximize mobility. So it's kind of hard for me to call it a trade-off because it works so well for when I'm climbing. But outside of the gym, then it can get a little bit noticeable. I also don't really sport climb that often, but I have worn these once while going top roping, and these were phenomenal in the harness. Kind of like because they're a tight fit, when I'm in the harness and it gets tighter, it doesn't ever feel like my underwear is ever moving or bunching up in any uncomfortable fashions. I never really have to adjust them while I'm in the harness. So definitely really like these if I'm gonna go top roping or sport climbing. So I definitely kind of feel like these are essential for whenever I'm rope climbing, and probably just recommended if I'm going to do specifically more training focused, intense and long boulder sessions. Personally though, as someone who prefers looser fitting things, I would prefer to have a looser fitting version of these, which kind of leads me to the pros and cons of this. Okay, so I've talked quite a bit about the pros already. They're eco-friendly, they're biodegradable, they're super soft, they're like actively cooling, they've got a really nice sleek design, they work incredibly well in the harness, they're great for long, active, intense boulder sessions. But they're not 100% perfect. I've noticed that because they're a super tight fit, I'm not a huge fan of them outside of the gym. And at times, I can be adjusting them quite a bit. Now, the first original review unit that they sent me was a small, and I noticed that that was definitely way too small for my body, and I was adjusting them quite a bit. These are the smallest right here, and I wanted to see how they were going to work outside of the gym. So I remember one time I was walking my dog, and I accidentally punctured a hole through them while I was trying to adjust them. So I was quite disappointed by that, especially because the rest of the fabric is so impressive. But I figured that the actual fit of them is probably just a sizing issue. So I asked for a medium to see if that was going to change to whether they felt in my body. That's what these are, and definitely noticed a huge difference. I was not adjusting them nearly as much as I was in the smalls. These are actually like wearable for me. So definitely size matters here. But even still though, I was still kind of disappointed about the ability for them to be punctured. I kind of wish that they were a bit more durable. Maybe it'd be nice to have them reinforced a bit in a version 2 of these. But outside of that though, I hadn't noticed any wear and tear on either the mediums or the smalls. I haven't been able to puncture a hole in the mediums. So that might have just been a freak occurrence. I don't really know, but definitely something I would want to tell you about before you end up purchasing one of these. So with them being tight, it's not something that I necessarily want to hold against them because they're not lounge wear, they're active wear. They're not meant for me to be chilling in. They're meant for me to be climbing in. So it's not something that I really want to hold against them, but it is something that I do give the edge to a more traditional pair of underwear, because I can just climb in those, wear some pants to keep myself covered, and then I can still go to the bar after and not think too much about it. But that being said though, I kind of do wish that these were something that I could really chill in and wear as a daily pair of underwear, because they're so nice. The fabric is so soft and it's so cool. So I kind of do wish that I could just have these as a regular pair, everyday pair. But at the end of the day, like I was saying, they're meant for performance, not for lounging. So it's not something that's a deal breaker for me. Before I answer, who do I think these are for? Let's ask Peter, the founder of HiCliff, why he decided to make climbing underwear in the first place.
I was living in Essex in the UK, and then I was working in London. So it was like an hour and a half commute on the train every day. So, and in about November, I think, October, November, I read the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. I wanted to start something, and I had thought of rock climbing underwear the year previous when I was in Boston, because I was in the gym one day and I was just covered in sweat, and I just remember thinking my boxers were literally, they were like, everything was bunched up and just wet. So that was the original idea of the underwear, of like a really practical pair that you're not also paying $40 a pair for. I knew I didn't want to go traditional cotton style. I wanted something that was slightly, off center, that would kind of give me a bit more of a leverage of, I suppose, marketing kind of way. And I knew for myself, I've always had like a bunch of different kind of business ideas, like selling leaflets or salt grit for when it snows. But with those things, I had no interest in it. I had no connection to the market that I was in. So when I finally came up with rock climbing underwear, I was like, this is the people that are involved, I want to be involved with. It's an incredible space to be in, and I want to progress in it and be involved in the community.
So I asked them a bunch of other questions, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification so that you don't miss when that full interview drops. Okay, so who do I think these are actually for? Well, if you're someone who climbs a lot and you train very intensely, I think these are for you. If you're someone who sweats a lot while they work out, I think these are for you. If you're someone who likes tight-fitting underwear, these are for you. If you're someone who climbs in compression shorts, I think that these are going to be a much better option, because you're going to get that athletic fit with a fabric that's going to be a lot softer and a lot cooler and moisture wicking than I think compression shorts are going to be. If you're someone who is very eco-conscious, I think these are for you. If you top rope a lot or you climb in harnesses, these are for you. If you climb outdoors a lot, these are for you. If you're someone who sweats a lot while they climb, these are for you. If you're someone who wants to support a small business, these are for you. And now, while from a marketing perspective, these are tailored more towards climbers, I can see all kinds of athletes, especially field athletes, really appreciating these. I'm thinking back to my lacrosse days where I was competing in the hot summer sun. Definitely wearing something like this would have been really, really great. So I can see climbers being the ones that are the first adopters of these, but I can see a lot of other athletes really wanting to wear these. So pretty much anyone who's an athlete. So to wrap things up, I'm really impressed by the HiCliff Boxer Briefs. I really love the fabric. I love how soft they are. I love that they're actively cooling and how breathable and stretchy they are. They're really great to perform in. Definitely recommend these in top roping situations or anything like that, or for long, intense boulder sessions. I do personally wish that there was a looser fitting version of these and maybe something that was a little bit more durable. If there was just a regular boxer version of these that kept the 3D pouch and the mesh panels, I think that would probably be my daily pair, and I would replace all of my other underwear for just these. And I'll probably just keep maybe a pair or two of the tighter fitting versions for whenever I choose to climb in ropes. But I mean, for a startup brand that's operated by one guy, these are incredibly impressive. And I'm very excited to see what HiCliff does in the future. But don't just take my word for him. Get a pair for yourself if you're interested. you can use the code HiUncleISO to get 10% off. And they also have other apparel as well, not just the underwear. So if you like what you see, go ahead and use that code, hit the link in the description, and go and support a small business. So that's my review on the HiCliff Boxer Briefs. Leave a like button if you found this review helpful. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an interview when it drops. And let me know in the comments if you have a pair for yourself and what your experience has been like. And that's pretty much it. Till the next time, keep rocking. Peace.